Well, good evening and welcome back to the talk. I hope that you're enjoying the images and enjoying seeing actually the blue skies. It's nice to see the blue skies always, isn't it? In some cases, of course, dependent upon the angle that I'm taking them against the sun. Some are white, but they are blue. But no, I hope you're enjoying it. Welcome back, everybody. I quite like having this little moderator who I don't know why I keep saying little. Sorry, Neil. I do apologise about that. My fellow controller. So he's doing a wonderful job there. I don't even have to type things to you any longer. He's doing it for me. So I don't know whether you can have your own little moderator picture or not. But welcome back, everybody. We're up to about half of the content we had earlier. So as I say, hope that it's enjoyable and that you're enjoying the different birds. I know there is quite a large content of bird photographers within the club, and you know, it is nice just to see something different. So it's always good as well, I think, personally. I mean, I don't know what other people think, but whatever images you look at, it's just nice to see other people's work. So whether it be wildlife or whatever, you know, everybody to their own. So I don't know exactly how many people saw it the first time round. It was one that I actually did on a club night in the club room, just via slides. It's probably for some, a little bit nicer just to sit at home and relax with a drink. Why did I look over there when I said a drink? Because I've got a drink this time. I forgot to get one ready earlier, so I did the whole first half without having a sip. But no, it's nice just to sit back and relax and be able to enjoy the images either on your tablet, computer, telly, for those people who are into casting it onto the telly. If anybody fancies doing that and they don't know how to do it, then you know, it is well worth finding out how to do it, because of course your telly's 4K. Now if the image is at the right amount of pixels per side, you can see your images on your television in 4K. Some people will be saying, well, I can't because I ain't got a 4K telly, but nevertheless, you can. If you've got a 4K telly and you stream it, you can send it to your telly and you can watch it on a big screen. I think I've not seen Ray on tonight, but I think that's what he does from time to time, throws it onto his telly. So I can't remember. I'm just looking at the names that are flashing by in front of me. I can't remember saying hello to Alan. Good evening, Alan. Hope you are well, sir. I think we're about up to numbers now, and it's just got 15. So I'm going to have another quick. It's just gone straight from 15 to 18, so we're just about there. I'm just going to have a quick drink again. I'm going to get rid of myself. Just a little click of a couple of buttons. You don't want to be seeing me over the top of the pictures. So there's me gone. I can have a drink when I like now, and you'll not know. Well, it'll be quiet for a minute, but I'm just looking at the comments, that's why I'm stuttering. Yeah, no, nothing untoward or anything. So, right, we'll move on. I've got, we've done 136 images. We've got 242 in total, so that must make it 106 to go. So hopefully you'll enjoy the second half just as much as the first, and we'll get on. So as I was saying, Bob always wanted to take a picture of a bee eater. There's my effort. Lovely bird, absolutely lovely. Oh, I'll have to move the first one on. There we go. Let me just go back one, because I think I might have missed one. No, I'm all right. So off we go again. I was walking along this wooded area, and these spiders, there's two spiders here. They are slightly different, well, from different webs, of course. Don't know what they are. Don't know whether there was venomous, but they do have venomous spiders. One of the ones that's quite venomous for a small one is a little tiny spider called a redback spider. And if you happen to be walking around in your bare feet and you stand on one and you get bitten, it does just hurt a little. But these two, as it says on the top there, they would just about sit on your hand. They didn't sit on my hand because I didn't get anywhere near them. But yeah, just took a couple of spiders just to show you what they are. Australian brush turkey. Now, lots of people call these the Australian bush turkey. Some call them brush turkey. Once again, I took this one into the sun, as you can see, because the shadow from the birds on my side, and hence the reason it's not particularly a good picture, but it was the closest up one that I got. Now, their tail is, as you see it, I was going to say it's grown. Well, it has grown, hasn't it? It is in that vertical position. So it's not like our birds. So just seeing what Caroline put there. Bats. The friends up in Brisbane took us for a ride up into the mountains, and you get a lot of the areas where you get really hot, damp weather. And up in the mountains, this is what you get, and this is the fruit bats. Now you're looking at something here that's possibly from its toe end to its wrapped up head end is 2 foot long. It is ginormous for a bat. You know, to the bats that we know and we see, they are big. So hellish things, and they just hang in the trees all day, and one will come out now and again, and you see the head, etc. here. But once again, very difficult picture to take because you're pointing the camera up into that shiny sky. So snake, I was possibly about 2 meters away from this one. It was constantly moving. It was very, very dark in the wooded area that we was in, and I just had to make the most of it. It's not a venomous snake. It has no interest in people. It just came across the path in front of us, and it just makes its own way. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't even, well, it will be looking at you, I suppose, but it doesn't really worry about you. This would be probably about 1 meter long, somewhere around 1 meter long. So, but yeah, lovely thing. and its little old tongue there, its sense or whatever we call it, going in and out all the time, just tasting the air. Little Rufous Fantail. Now this blooming thing, it would not sit still. It just hopping about all the time. It just never sat still. Brown Cuckoo Dove, extremely dark area where I was in. This has been brightened up tremendously. It was a very dark picture initially, and I've cropped it as well, so I got the record shot. You know, once again, it's all about getting the record shot. As I put right at the very beginning, not every picture comes out perfect. Australian Wallaby. Wallabies, this one was literally, I don't know, a metre away from us. And they're only little things, really. They're not very big at all. This one, I would say it would stand, well, it wouldn't stand 3 foot high, somewhere around there, but no higher than 3 foot. Whistling Kite. Now these birds, I spent, some of you would have seen a picture recently that I put on about the whistling kite, about the kites, and I spent possibly 2 hours with these birds, and I sat on a bank and they kept coming and going. I had a nest probably about, I don't know, 100 meters away, and they just kept coming and going. Absolutely beautiful birds. I could have sat there all day watching them. Absolutely beautiful. But as a lot of you know, I'm a big bird of prey fan anyway. I do like the raptors, so I put this at the top there. Touch my neck if you dare. God, they were spiky. Now, both of these pictures have these lizards in bushes, and I just took the picture dead level with my head, sort of thing. So they're about 6 foot up in a bush, and they're just sunning themselves. But if you get near to them, boy, do they hiss. They really hiss at you. I only did it once, but I didn't go anywhere near one again. Because you don't know them, you know, you're not from the country, so you don't know them, so it is difficult knowing whether they are venomous, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. Eastern Osprey, very, very much like ours. This was taken totally at the wrong angle again. You can see the sun, of course, is above the bird, and it's coming from the right, so I've had to brighten the underneath up quite a bit to get it nice and bright. Collared kingfisher. Once again, off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly, but they either have 3 or 4 kingfishers, and they have them from the size of our little kingfisher to one that's probably nearly twice, nearly 2.5 times larger than ours. But this is a collared kingfisher. Blue-faced honeyeater. Now, excuse me, I did ask if that one on the left was a blue-faced honeyeater, was the one on the right a green-faced honeyeater, because there is a green-faced honeyeater, and I was told no, the one on the right is a blue-faced, but it's a youngster. So and when you look at it, you can see the downy feathers underneath are not as full as the other one. Chestnut teal. This one was fairly close to me. It was on the bank. I just didn't go towards it. I went round it, and so it started just going away from me. So I had to take the picture as quick as I could. Crested tern on the beach again. you do get some of the turns that you can get fairly close up to. You have to, like ours, you have to approach them very steady. I was so annoyed with myself with this picture because I chopped its tail off. Really, really annoyed. So, pied oyster catcher. They call their oyster catcher a pied oyster catcher because you'll see why in a minute. There will be another one shortly. Up close and personal. We was going along. Some of you will have seen I put this into a competition some years ago, and we was on Bribey Island. We was driving around in Robert's Jeep, and we just saw this kangaroo, and we got out, and this kangaroo would stand as tall as I am. It would be 6 foot, probably a little bit more, probably a bit taller than I am, and he was enormous. It's got to be a he because, God, it was enormous. And it was, what would it be, 4 or 5 meters away. This is all I could get in the 70mm end of the 100 end of my 100-400. This is one of my favourite captures, white-bellied sea eagle. I had numerous attempts at getting these, and I just couldn't get the right angle to show the belly off. But once again, absolutely beautiful bird. Absolutely stunning. Little egret, their little egret. As you can see, it's got the dark legs and the dark beak, which is very similar to ours. If you was to put ours to at the side of that one, though, there is a little bit of difference. Brown quail. You have, these are so timid. I sat down for probably 5 minutes waiting for these to come out. I'd seen them. They saw me coming, and they shoot it off. They shot off, and I thought I'll just sit down a few minutes and just see if they'll come out again, and these 3 did. So just got them. Intermediate egret. So you've now gone through 3 egrets, and this one is as it says. No, I've just seen what Doreen put. No, I don't lay on the grass. If it's a very nice tarmac footpath like it was with them quail, I sat down on the tarmac, but the ants are enormous. But we'll say no more about that because I hate ants. The intermediate egret is between the little egret and the great egret, so nice size to it. Rainbow lorikeet, lovely coloured bird. All of these have been cropped, and even though you may think, well, you know, he's got really close to those birds because they're tame or because they see a lot of people, no, they are all wild. So they are a totally wild bird, and these are, you know, all the pictures have been cropped. So this is probably, of the Australian kites, my favourite. I just couldn't get any good pictures of the Grahame kite. It's a beautiful coloured bird, and underneath, all its head, as you can see, is white, and then its chest is white as well. It's an absolute beautiful bird. I'd climbed up to a lighthouse, and I was walking around the lighthouse just on this peninsula, and I just happened to go to the railings, and I looked down, and this was flying underneath me. What a sight. Absolutely beautiful. Really, really was. And that picture, even though it's not a brilliant picture, I could look at that for ages. Absolutely beautiful bird. Striated heron. Now this thing I was at the low end. I was about 100 metre on my 100-400 lens, and with this particular one, I probably walked a quarter of a mile. I saw it, looked through my binoculars, and I saw it was something that I hadn't got, and I had to walk across a muddy plain to get to it. And as you can see, all the mud. It wasn't this muddy where I was, but I had to make my way very carefully, and it was stalking, and I must have seen me, but it tolerated me approaching, and I went really, really slow and got this shot. So really pleased with that one. Beachstone curlew, another strange bird, but it is a nice bird in its own right. Doesn't half screech, really screechy noise. Spotted dove. Well, you can obviously see why. Very sort of close relation to our collared dove, but once again, totally different. Yeah, totally agree with you, Jill. I love the curlews too. Lovely bird, and especially when you capture them in flight. So, lovely spotted curlew there. Hardhead, duck family, of course. This, I was just trying to think where that was, but I can't remember. Swamp hen. Now this bird is a big bird. You're probably talking, I'm just trying to think, well, it's nearly a turkey size. Not quite a turkey size, but look at those feet. You can see the big feet to stop it sinking in the swamps. It's one of those birds that some people say, God, ain't that ugly? You know, but it's a lovely colours in itself, the blues and the reds. There's your grey butcherbird. We saw the other one earlier. This was once again the only grey butcherbird I saw. That's the Australian figbird. Once again, I got quite a few pictures of them. There was 2 or 3 jumping about, but I just couldn't get a full bird. It just got the head and the back. So, right, we've been up in Bribie Island for quite a while now. We've spent about 3 weeks up in Bribie Island with the friends, and we're now on our way down. We're here in Bribie Island. We're going to make our way down the coast, right past Sydney. Sydney is a horrible place to go round. But nevertheless, you have to do it. That's where the motorway goes. You've got to get on the motorway to go down round here. We never take motorways ourselves. We always go the coast roads, etc. But that bit, you have to go on the motorway, and you have to pay a toll as well. A lot of their motorways, you have to pay tolls on. So, and then we go across country down to Mount Gambier, and then round to Apollo Bay Lawn, back to Newham, where we virtually started. And that journey there, as you can see, is 1,952 miles. This is one of my favourite pictures, actually, a cattle egret. And I must admit, with the Olympus, I think I could have got that picture better. It is a nice picture in itself, but with the Olympus, I think I could have done it better. So, the next one, the Indian minor bird, is the one that I was telling you about earlier, which is the one that's sort of not a native to Australia, and it's the menace bird. So it does fight with the others. Australian reed warbler. For anybody out there who has a caravan, we pulled up at this stop, and what they have in Australia, they have stops, refresher stops, and it's just like a well, there's some of them go as far as giving away free cups of coffee, tea, etc., and There's showers, you can shower yourself whilst you're there, etc. All for free, of course. And this particular place that we stopped at, we had a drink, and it was also further down. It was a free caravan park, so you can just roll up one day. You're allowed to stay for 3 nights, and then you have to move on. And you just pull up, you set your caravan up, you stay there free for 3 nights. You've got the showers free. It's nothing marvellous, but absolutely superb. It's on grass, but of course the grass is usually brown. And I've just got this picture outside of a little stream. Peacock. Now there's, once again, a little bit like the Muscovy duck, peacocks in Australia, because they escaped so many years ago, they have become a bird which is, they now say that, or they've got it in their book of named birds. So sort of native to the country, but it is an escapee originally, but they now class it as a bird of Australia. So, but just got some, this one was quite close up, probably, it was in a hedge bottom. I stopped the car, turned round, went back, swapped over to driving with Di. I put my window down, and when we got to it, we just approached it really slowly at the side of the road, and pop, got it. Red-winged parrot, rufous songlark, fairy martin. There was 2 of these. You can just see the other one on the back end here, but I just couldn't get close to them. They were just so far away, and this is cropped quite a bit. Black kite, another one of the kite family. It's a fairly brown kite. It doesn't have such prominent bits of white under the wing. It's got the V in the tail like our red kite, but not under the wing. Whiskered tern. Difference on this one, it's got the grey belly. I just jumped out of the car for this one. My spotter, Di, my wife, she would say, oh, there's some different birds, you haven't seen them there. So we'd just pull up and I'd walk back. Of course, in Australia, it's much better because you can just pull up on the side of the road, you leave your car parked there, and you take the pictures. You have to be a little bit careful, because I did it once in 2009 when we was across there, and I pulled up and Di sat in the car with the door open, and she shouts me, she says, Graham, excuse me, I think I can smell burning. And so I moved the car, and it was from the exhaust, it was just beginning to touch the grasses on the side of the road, so you've got to be extra careful. White-breasted wood swallow. There was a tree with probably 50 of these in the tree, so there must be quite a bird that roosts together. These are probably sparrow size. Oh, there you go, house sparrow. Got to have a common one, haven't you? Spiny-cheeked honeyeater. The Rio Vista at Mildura. So we're on our way back now. We're about halfway back, and this is just one of the old houses. They don't have, in all honesty, they don't have a lot of old houses. They're because the country isn't old. So, 1800s houses are as old as you get. So, not a lot and not many of them about. Now, this day, I had an absolute field day, because the 2 in the background are royal spoonbill. So within 20 metres, all in the same bit of water, was the yellow-billed spoonbill and the glossy ibis as well. So we had them all just all within the same bit of water. Musk duck, not a really nice looking duck, but nevertheless, it's another one for the record. Black-tailed native hen. These were very timid, like the quail. I pulled up in the car and I just squatted down at the side of the car. Can't remember whether it was the front or the back, and just had to wait for them to come out. Echidna. The echidna is the equivalent, of course, of our hedgehog, but this is probably 3 times the size of our hedgehog. So, and much more chunky. Swamp harrier. I always liked this picture. It was one that I just caught just as they was walking across this. It was in a reserve, this was. A big, massive lake. And these were in a field. I've cropped this quite a bit. But yeah, these 3 were just walking at side of each other. And I love the picture. Brolga. Now the brolga, you can see in the grass there was 2 little chicks, and it was either 2 or 3. I can't see what they looks like to be there, but it was a couple of chicks anyway. And once again, we was going along. We're now down onto the Great Ocean Road, and the wife shouts, "Whoa, there's something in that field that you haven't got." So once again, straight up on the curb on the side of the road. Well, there aren't any curbs. It's just it goes from tarmac to soil to grass, and that's it. And usually dead grass. But yeah, took this one. This one would be probably 200 to 300 meters away. So now this is the little bit of the sorrow part of the evening. We've got the bushfires. This is near Adelaide, and when a bushfire comes through, you're talking about that hillside could be from a totally green hillside to what you're looking at now in 3 seconds. The winds just blow it through so quick. It is unbelievable, and the flames are probably 100 meters high, and it just rolls on. It just goes through it like nothing. You know, whole mountainsides. It's unbelievable. Until you see it, you cannot believe the damage it does, and it spares nothing. Graveyards, houses, it doesn't matter what it is. It'll take it, even when there's no trees. That doesn't stop it, because that brown grasses in the background will just carry the fire on, and it just rolls in balls of flame across the grassland, and it'll just hit a house like this, and it'll just take the house as quick as that. And then it doesn't matter what you're doing. This old estate was towing another car on a trailer, and they just fled. And you just leave everything and you just flee. And there's just places where we've stopped, Di and I, and you just see cars like this, houses like that, and all that's left is this chimney. That's the last bit that's left, and all of this, the tin off the roof, is just bent from the heat. This is 2009. We was staying with friends near Melbourne at the time, and we was told to go down the Great Ocean Road at this time in 2009. And I'm sure you're all, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to read that. but we was told to go down the ocean road because that was the safest area at that time, because you're always near the sea and there's not as many trees. But as you can see there, 430,000 hectares of bush was burnt out and farmland. It's just unbelievable. They called it Black Saturday, and people just escape to any bit of water they can, and they told people to stay away from the devastated areas the first week, and then the second week they said, you know, if people could go back and help these communities to strive again by buying things from that area, it would just help. And we went back, one, to see what devastation there was, and two, to spend some money. And we did. We spent quite a bit of money. And I love this little phrase here. I think that's a lovely thought that somebody has put down there, and it's same with anything that we lose. There's some of the figures. I don't know whether you can see them for those on smaller monitors, but you know, Ava Beverly Gibson, 22 months, brother 3-year-old, sister 4-year-old, the whole family wiped out. Right, this is an area that we've been to quite a few times, and we go to this viewpoint. And Murchison Gap in, this isn't a picture from 2009, but in 2009 we did go to this place, and every single bit of the land that you can see at the moment was black. And believe it or not, just in the centre of the picture there's a farm. And because it was in the valley, the flames went straight over the top of it and took all the grasses, all the trees, killed everything. Well, not killed it because they regenerate. But it left the farm intact. They got away with it. But we saw that when the whole area was black. So there's your other sooty oyster catcher. So managed to get this. This was a on my belly shot. Creeping towards it until I got close enough to get the shot. Blackbird, brown thornbill. The next one was a hard one to get because he would not sit still. An eastern spinebill just would not stay still, always on the move. Common tern. Typical scene in Australia. You're just riding along and you get the cows and you think to yourself, how do them cows survive? There's no grass, but there's the little windmill here and the water tank, and it pumps it out the ground, and that's what the cattle come to drink. Love taking pictures of the little mills, and this is one that I took one later in the day, just as the sun's going down. I've got it just so there's a glimpse of light on the water tank there. Grey lag, same as our grey lag. Yellow-faced honey eater. Silver eye. That one was taken at Apollo Bay, so was this. Iraqi shakshali. Now that's a rare visitor to Australia, but it's one of those that drop in because it got lost or something like that, and somebody's just feeding it with some rice on a windowsill. I put this on the bird identification site, and everybody wanted to know where it was. But it was a rare visitor. There you go, Caroline, another one for you. A tiger snake. I wouldn't get within 20 metres of this one. Tiger snakes are highly venomous. I actually drove past it, and then I backed up and stopped, and I was probably about 10 metres away from it with one foot in the car and one foot on the ground with the camera over the top of the door taking the picture, and that snake once again would be 3 metres long or a bit longer. And apparently I was told afterwards, after putting it on their identification site, that It was extremely venomous. Do not go anywhere near them. Pacific gull. Going to rush through a few. Well, I haven't got a lot left actually, but I'm going to rush through a few. European goldfish. Now this is going down the Great Ocean Road. This is at the bottom of Australia. That's how you can sit on the beach. Those footprints are our footprints, and you can see one or two tracks from the vehicles that come round. They go up driving up and down the beach, but you have the beach to yourself. That's Di, and I was up in the rocks just taking pictures. That particular outcrop of rock used to be called, well, it still is called, the London Bridge, because you could walk right across the top and out to the end here. But then this section just dropped one night around 2010 time, and so never again. And very soft stone in this area. 12 apostles on the Great Ocean Road. There's not 12 now. They was 12 big peaks of stone like those, but there's only about 8 or 9 now because they've all slowly washed away. But a very, very big tourist area. Beautiful beaches again, look. You have to be careful on these beaches though, because if you go down there, you can get down there, but then of course the tide comes in so quick. Love this sign. Danger, do not enter. Unstable cliffs. You may fall and die. Now, you've not only got to worry about falling, you might die as well, so stay behind the fence. There's the other apostles. So they're all stood up there. Bit of night photography. This was fairly dark at night, just using the settings to get the stones and the water. Got to have a koala, haven't you? The recent bushfires last Christmas time has wiped out roughly about 3/4 of the population of koalas in the areas where it went through. There was only about 1/4 of them got away, so it's devastating. Now there's a story to the one on the right. The chappie on the right was on the road, and it was in a hollow. So Di had this idea: we really can't leave it on the road. We ought to shoo it off the road. So I said, well, I'm driving, so you can do the shooing. So she got out the car, went up to shoo it off the road, and it looked up at her as much as say, yes, what do you want? And she's trying to shoo it, and it didn't want to know. So it started going towards the grass. So she said, oh, well, to herself, well, that's all right. So she starts walking back to the car, which was about 15-20 meters away, and this koala started chasing her. So I found it quite funny, but she didn't. So, but yeah, you've got to have a picture of a koala. Australian raven, forest raven, hooded plover, absolutely beautiful little bird. One of their endangered birds, and I was fortunate enough to find a beach totally tucked away where nobody goes, and I waited and watched, and it was said that there was here, and I found this pair, and I spent nearly an hour with them. Ah, beautiful little bird. Australian king parrot. Like this picture. I think it's just a shame it wasn't a good day, but I just love the difference between the two. Absolutely superb. I just love the picture. Common bronzewing. Australian gannet, just going into a dive. This is the closest I ever got to one, and that's well cropped as well. Gang cockatoo. Red-capped plover. Redneck stint. That's the bus stop. So the next bus stop will be when? white-eared honeyeater, grey fantail. These little things jump about all over. Now cuckoos, it's strange having a bird called a cuckoo that doesn't cuckoo, it sings. That is the strangest thing. There's 3 cuckoos, I believe. That's the fantail cuckoo, the pallid cuckoo, and I don't know, like I got the other one. That was the only insect I took a picture of. Sacred kingfisher, Rufous whistler, that's the cock and the hen bird, a rock dove. So, how many of the 898 possibilities did I get? 156. So it did. I got a few of them, but don't forget what I said earlier, that to get a lot more you have to go, say, up to Darwin, or you have to go across to Perth. There's the birds, if you get something in Perth, you won't get it in Brisbane, because the climates are so different. Vast climates, you know, across the country. If I remember right, I think there's at times there can be up to about 8 or 9 hours difference in time, so totally different. And I had to end with one of my favourite pictures from that journey, and this was the old favourite, the my brain's gone dead. I've said that many birds' names tonight. Kookaburra, yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed it, because we're at the end of the road. So hopefully I haven't bored you too much. It's just been a bit of a fill-in night tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it as for what it is. But I think this picture, when you look at that, that is a road. So, and as it says there, road closed, you know. So thank you very much for the comments there. It's been a great pleasure to show you my pictures. You know, I think all of you know by now that I'm absolutely passionate about photography. I'm passionate about wildlife, and also about the night photography. So we'll have something else in another night. So thank you very much, everybody. Go and get yourselves another drink, have a bite to eat, get your cereal. Can you remember having your cereal when you was young? Go get your cereal, and we'll be back with you shortly. So all the best for now. Take care, and cheerio from me.